again, beautiful Love Vibe Tribe. For those of that, wow, already fucking this up. For those of you that are new, my name is Brooke. Welcome to the channel. My day ones, I love you. My subscribers, I love you. So we're going to continue the series today of Mary Magdalene Revealed by Meggan Waterson. This series is just about the 7 powers of the ego that Mary Magdalene's gospel teaches. And Meggan Waterson's book kind of breaks down into pieces that are easier to swallow, to digest. So for those of you that are returning, it's so good to see you again. Welcome back to the Empire of Neutrality. And with that being said, let's just get into it. This one? Yes. Okay. So today, we're going to go to the first power. We started at the end. And now we're going to the beginning, which there is no step ladder. Like, it's not like darkness is the first power of the ego that you have to overcome, and then there's this, and there's this, and the last one is sacred rage, which I do feel like sacred rage, that power of the ego is probably a harder one to learn how to harness. That tool of the ego is probably one of the more difficult ones. So it could be higher on the list, right, of the powers of the ego. However, there is no set order from which you journey them. So we're going to start with the first power. And the first power of the ego is darkness. What we have forgotten. Funny, the last one I did, the 7th power of the ego, rage, is what we have remembered. So apparently this is what we've forgotten. Okay. So sit back, take it in, let me know how it resonates for you guys, and let's begin. If I could start over from the beginning, I would start with the most invisible, the threads in the web of our ecosystem that are rarely named, much less revered. I would start by listing the names of the trees, the flowers, the seeds that carry the light that give us life, because this is what we have forgotten. This is where our reverence has not yet reached. I would start with frankincense and myrrh, with the boswellia and the commiphora trees that made them. I would start with the honeybee and the sweet, essential nectar it feeds on. I would start first with what goes unnoticed, with what we haven't realized is the most sacred among us. I would start with the names of everyone we've excluded, of the street children, of the millions slowly starving to death in plain daylight. I would start with the outsiders, the outcast. I would start with every one of us who thinks we aren't worthy of love just as we are. I would say each of their names, each of our names, who have been made into objects, who have been violated, who have had to survive by leaving their body altogether. I would list the names of all the mothers who have known the unspeakable joy of gradually knitting life within her, of bringing life from the dark into the light. The mothers who have no idea where their heart is anymore, now that it's also outside of them. The mothers who remind us, no matter who we are, that our first country was our woman's body, and our first element was water, and that our first reality was darkness. If I could write the beginning, it wouldn't be in the light. It would be in the womb, in the dark, in a cave, in an egg. It would be to name all that has been left out of what's holy, the blood, the body. Nothing real or imagined has ever happened without it. If I could start again, I would install an altar within me. I would place the most sacred object inside of it, my own heart. If I could start again, I would know that the only cathedral I have ever needed to find, to enter, to return to again and again is this humble red hermitage, this mystical space that holds all the answers. I would begin again inside my heart, and I would live this way, speaking from it. If I could start all over, I would begin with her. I would list all of their names first as an introduction, a forgotten lineage. And I'm probably going to mess up these names. Inanna, Inhu, Duanana, Isis, Kuan Yin, Mao Shan, Mother Mary, Sarah, La, Kali, Thekla, Perpetua, Joan of Arc, Marguerite Poirier. I would start with the other, hidden half of the story, the voices that were buried in the desert in caves, the ones that were burned at the stake, the ones that were so threatening because hearing their voices would mean letting our love reach where it has never been before, to all of us, to all of creation, to the least among us, to the trees and the flowers, to the honeybees that feed them, and the frankincense and myrrh, to the bark and the dirt, to the land itself where the word was first spoken. If I could begin again, it would be with her love, because this is what has been forgotten. This is what we need most to remember, that she could hear him, meet him from within her own heart, that she had so much to teach us, that her love for him taught her. I would start with her love because this was the bridge. This is the bridge. This is how we move the story of what it means to be human forward. We hear from her. We hear from her about what her love made possible. If I could start again, it would be in the darkness. And in the darkness, all we would see is a hand suddenly extending out towards us. And the invitation would be terrifying. Seeing this hand would compel our heart to start beating rapidly, audibly. The fear comes from feeling out of control. We want to leave and we want to stay in equal measure. We want to know what might happen next and for everything to remain exactly the same. Taking this hand is a choice to surrender. Surrendering it all of the fear, the hurt, the anger, and the ego that it created. If I could start again, I would start with Mary Magdalene, because she is the one who remembers him, the Christ that I know by heart. Beautiful. Just. I always say, Mary Magdalene, Jesus Christ, they are the original twin flames, the OGs of the twin flame journey. And just reading that, you can feel their love. You can feel the experience of being in love, of birthing love, of remembering love, of understanding love, of being love. It's so beautiful. And I think that if you are on the twin flame journey, reading this book and understanding what Christ and Mary Magdalene went through and what their love was able to overcome, separation, different classes, trauma, so much. But anyways, that's our little story for today. I will be back soon to read the second power. Please drop a like. It really helps out the channel. And I love you guys. Bye.